out to the masters. Break it down. Generate into smoking food. Just outside and do what you're supposed to do. That's a break, boy. Yeah, that's a break, little man. Break it down. I'm Generation X. Tell me what to do. You know who you're talking to. But you better get used to wastable bounces. See what's got and envision ounces. That's a break, boy. Yeah, that's a break, little man. Break it down. I'm Generation X. You think you're a big man? Treat you like your little man. Yeah. Break it down. Yo, tell me what it's like to be half a man. It must be pretty hard to see what I am, but that's the break, boy. Yeah, that's the break, little man. Break it down. I'm Generation X. We generation. You think you can tell me what to do? You know who you're talking to? Just stop what it means to be someone else. Put it away. Look on the shelf back. You can't read, boy. Yeah, you can't read it, man. I'm Generation X! Yo! Welcome, I'm Tom Fury. This is Zero News on that strange in-between period of Christmas where we've had 14 degrees every day up until about the day before Christmas Day, and then it was turned to cold. Sunny, but cold. Sorry, my friends. I turn on the TV today, something I don't normally do, and I thought I'll have a look on there. I thought, is there anything the mainstream has to say? Because a lot of people like to take pride in the fact that they don't watch the mainstream media. I don't watch it, but a lot of people will say things like, by the way, I'm using my mic, but if it's really windy, tell me and I'll move the mic, because at the moment it's taking the brunt of the wind. It's got a wind protector on, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. People will say things like, you can tell when the media are lying because the lips move. And it's like, it's great saying that, but there's actually a lot of things, whether we like it or not, that a lot of people will end up using the mainstream media as proof when the story is reported on. Or the mainstream media is often used as a distribution method to tell the truth at a really mundane time, on a mundane day of the week, in a mundane way. So if you go look back in the past of things that have been said over mainstream media, you'll see some of the most terrible, some of the most, for instance, Cameron saying that Cameron and Merkel said they were going to change the face of Europe. And they said this quite openly. And nobody listened because it's on mainstream media. So you see what I'm saying? This is how they fit their narratives in between the lies. And then they can always point back and go, no, look, we told everybody, and nobody complained back then. You don't get to complain now. So always keep one eye on it. But since I started doing this, something like 7.5 years ago, in February, it'll be 8 years. 8 years, I think, since, I don't know, I'm getting confused since I started on YouTube. I think, I'm not sure, something like that. Anyway, obviously I've had to move channel now, but I kept the same channel for 7.5 years. It's crazy. See, this way, beep, 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 this way. So I turned on the TV, and like I say, going back years, I said, and Jordan Peterson said, and a lot of other people said, the biggest danger that the far left doesn't realise that it's potentially uncovering is a far right, the rise of the far right, because I think Jordan Peterson said it, the left will keep poking and prodding and using these identity politics games, and eventually someone's going to snap and have enough, and they're going to say, okay, we're going to play the game by the rules that you've set. And if you look around now, that's beginning to happen. People are beginning to play the left at their own games. And what he said was the right would end up saying, okay, you won't play this any other way. You want to play the game this way. Fine. We'll play by your rules, and we'll play every single tactic that you play, but there's going to be one difference. We're going to do it better, and we're going to win. And then you end up with a corrupt right instead of a corrupt left in control, because they've ended up being just as bad as the enemies. And this has always been something that we've been afraid of, waking up the real far right, which isn't a body of people that are sitting slumbering like dragons waiting to wake up. It's what happens to countries when people aren't listened to and they become angrier and angrier and angrier. So there is no far right. And that's the thing, all my studies since I started this, I've always said to you, and you know this because I've got myself in trouble with many of you, I will root out bad on my own side just as much as root out bad on the others. There isn't a far right. Look at that white vanguard turned up at the Southampton one. There's about 6 blokes. The patriotic alternative's got more, but it's because there's not many of them in total. And again, what do? They attach themselves to other demos and other people's podcasts. They're a fringe. They're fringe of fringe. They really are. And I've been following this, and the only time they've shown the signs of growing is when, say, Tommy's out the way, or when people get really, really frustrated with this country and anger gets the better of them. But there isn't a far right as such, right? There is a far right, but it's very, very small. People even know the names of most of them because it's such a small group of people compared to the far left, which has taken over half the planet. So it is upsetting when I turn on the news today, after watching this for years, watching the far right, far left get away with the things they're doing. Understand, the difference between the far left and the far right is not very much. Same as going back to the 60s and the race wars and everything else in America. The difference between the people wanting segregation who were black and the people wanting segregation who were white were very, very negligible. There practically was no difference between them. And that's why they were prepared to work together for a common goal of hating each other, crazily enough. I think that every time one of us has an interview on mainstream or anywhere else, I think every time they mention far right before a name, we should disrupt the entire program and stop and say, no, I'm not going to answer the question if you keep branding me with that name. You wouldn't get someone on here and keep calling them shithead before asking them a question, would you? And you're basically calling me a shithead every time you call me far right. Like, you've decided that, and now you're trying to make your audience believe that by saying it over and over before every question. Fuck you. So I turn on the TV and I've got to apparently worry about the rise of the far right. And the politicians are playing victim. Hey, Steve, good to see you, mate. I did try and schedule it in, mate, but since X yesterday, X are straining my patience, Steve. I'll come back to that in a minute, but straining my patience. But just to finish the thought, if I get back where I was, maybe I can't actually. It doesn't matter. It'll come back because it's yeah. So I'm seeing. So I turned on the mainstream media for the first time in a very, very long time. And bear in mind what I've said. Sorry, Steve, you're catching up, but bear in mind what I've said in this video thus far. We haven't got out, Steve. We haven't got to any numbers at all today. So the other day we were getting loads of it. It just seems like a lottery. But although I did find out this car doesn't hold a very great signal, so there is that. But no, so to be studying the far left and the far right, and the sheer size of the far left, the fact that it's funded and everything else, and the far right being so fringe, and if you ever see what happens when the far right turn up at demos that Civnats like myself and others are involved with, they're not tolerated. They're not tolerated. The reason they turn up to these places and pull out these flags is that the PR stunts. They're just PR stunts to try and get them a couple of extra members. That's all they are, because those people are drastically undermanned. Unlike the far left, because they get paid. And the other thing as well, you're telling young people they're saving the world. Think about Hollywood and think about everything else, but also think about a young person's simplification of the world and actually a genuine desire to want to do good. I think that people, even now, have got a genuine desire to want to do good, which can be manipulated quite severely. I think that a lot of people started out wanting to do good, but they got roped in the far left for education, for media, for everything else. And here we stand. So as we've got the woke police standing at your door over tweets, as we've got jail sentences being determined by race and gender and fake gender, while we've got all this stuff going on and the world's going mad, and the country and Starmer is blatantly breaking human rights and everything else, he and others are getting on the soapbox. Pour them, Nigel Farage and the bullies like Tommy Robinson, the far right, they got to keep saying it over and over again. And I notice they're including Farage for the far right stuff now. That's not because he's done anything. That's not because of recent allegations. That is panic. Whatever I think of Farage or anything else, that's panic. That's pure panic. They are now using the smears on Farage they haven't done for a while because they knew they wouldn't work and they knew they weren't right and then you wouldn't get away with them. They are now smearing Farage with the same brush because they know they are desperate now. They have to somehow make the public distrust him. So they're talking about Tommy Robinson and his influence on politics and all the rest of it. And all I will say to you is that Tommy's probably got people around him that might have some influence on politics. I think that's blatantly obvious by the fact there's a political party there. But Tommy's always had a not really that interested view on getting into politics. There may be political things he wants to happen, but I think he would rather, unless he's changed, I think he would rather support a political party. I think he knows he's not really MP stuff. It's not because he's lacking anything. It's just that's not the way he works. He's a guy that likes to be on the front line and get things done. So the idea that they're trying to make him into some credible threat is just fanciful. It's just bullshit. Because Tom, as far as I'm aware, Tommy's got absolutely zero ambition of chasing any politics down. All he was upset over was the fact that he wasn't allowed to join a political party, just pay a normal membership to support that party as a member. That was it. He didn't want any power. He didn't want any say. People assume because he's got a big platform that the moment he joins a party, he's going to start doing party broadcasts for them. Well, he's not stupid. He knows the potential ramifications of that. So he did it with Anne-Marie Waters. He didn't talk too much. He became a member and then he kept quiet. He's not a fucking idiot. So, yeah, so these people are on these TV programs, Sky News especially, trying to make out he's some big threat politically. And then we're going to break that down in a second as well. And he's not. Like, people wouldn't vote for Tommy, not because people don't like him, Not because people don't trust him, but he's Marmite. He split the country down the middle. He's working class, and he comes across like it. And there's a lot of people that won't vote for him because they will only vote for people with money and a certain type of education. We've proven that time and time again. So I think people, especially in America, they'll go, oh yeah, Tommy for PM. It's like you need to let go of that idea. I don't think he's got any interest in that, and I don't think the people would put him in that position. And the other thing as well is if you did put him in that position, you'd kill the hero image forever, because whoever runs the country is always going to feel like they let you down in some way or another, because they're up against it. So do you really want to put him in that role? Yeah, do you really want to put him in that role? Because you could end an era, as opposed to having him in other roles where he's immortal, and essentially as a figurehead for the movement. So, but they're trying to make out this big political threat from him and Farage. We already know that, in terms of this is why they're trying to cut back elections. Starmer won't be pulled into talking about the May elections, so that's not looking good. They're gatekeeping. There should be a law, and this really needs to be brought up in Parliament. There should be a law to stop them gatekeeping. When it's a Conservative Labour councils agreeing not to do elections, when the polls and the public are way behind their opposition, I don't think they should be allowed to do it. I really don't. What they've done is they're gatekeeping in the hopes that it will blow over, that they can cause a smear, they can do something that will get them their voters back before they have to see them all go to the Green Party and to Farage. That's not democracy, my friends. And you got Ant Middleton in there as well, by the way. So we're calling our SAS soldier a far-right person. They were calling anybody who supported Farage or anybody else. And again, I'm not a Farage supporter, but they're calling anybody on that side doing that kind of politics, Advance, Farage, everybody else, UKIP, all racists, all bigots. Like, do they realise how ridiculous that sounds now? Like, calling all of those people, all of those things, you did it to your own country members. You literally labelled about 80% of your country racist. And the other 20% were not of white skin. So you called all of your country racist. They've caused more race division than anybody. Now they're creating a boogeyman in Tommy Robinson and in Nigel Farage. And this tells you something. They're scared. They're genuinely scared. If they're trying to malign them now, and we ain't anywhere near a general election, they are either going to start a campaign now that goes on for a couple of years, or I don't know. But they are now. I think maybe they've seen the wind shift as well, where they've seen everybody appear in one channel. That shows that something's going on behind the scenes. The people are working together. That will frighten the left as well, because they're used to us being fragmented. So something's happening. They're shitting themselves. So they're coming after the far right, of which, again, I have no affiliation, wouldn't recognise more than about 3 people. And I think probably the complement of people in England, if they who would identify with being far right, would probably be less than 10,000 people, as opposed to the far left, which encompasses a whole lot more. It's a ridiculous thing to be talking about when you've got the bombings, stabbings, all these things associated with the left, Palestine, everything else, all the violence going on our streets all the time, which is the left is defending. It's amazing to me that the biggest worry when I switch on television at Christmas this year is the rise of the far right. They've tried this before, but it's incredible the temerity, the tenacity at this moment in time, when they've done the damage they've done this year, that they would dare to come out and start calling upon the far right as though they have been there the whole time, and this evil is what's caused all the problems. And these poor politicians are being victimised, and they're going to have votes taken away from them because these manipulative far-right thugs somehow have suddenly become suddenly got more IQ than the Eton people, according to them. And they're sort of, they're manipulating people into believing their narrative. Well, that's fucking rich, isn't it? Into believing their narrative. Disgruntled people are turning to them out of frustration. It's like, you tone deaf CUNTs, you absolute. Even now, like, even in that slight admittance that people are angry, there's still so they're going to Tommy Robinson, so they're going to Nigel Farage, almost like thrashing their toys out the pram, not making a political choice. By the way, and again, if you follow Tommy Robinson, that's not a political choice. If you support him, that's not a political choice. Not really. Not for what he stands for. He doesn't stand for party politics. So again, they're conflating issues. They're conflating Farage with Tommy Robinson. The funny thing is, they fucking hate each other, which even just shows you how out of touch they are, how they don't really care about the truth. They just want to lump them in because Tommy represents a threat on the streets. The U2K marches really showed that, unlike regular protests, they could do damage to the psyche and to the narrative that they've been trying to push in London. And then now, with the politics and everything else that's happening, and them not knowing what's going on, again, they feel the danger, they know the danger, they see themselves losing control of certain narratives, they see them losing control of the people, they see black people hanging around with white people, saying this is all bullshit, and vice versa, and that's going to see a lot more of that, and on this channel as well. Well, we're going to be black and white unite like we've always been, and we're going to invite people with all backgrounds on the channel. That's what it's always been about. And we just keep smashing their stupid narratives. But to be turning on and listening to the rise of the far right, the temerity, to be suggesting it when we are literally living in a half woke world where all the violence and all of the real evil, bad discourse is coming from the left or supporters of the left. And the right wing at the moment, like, don't get me wrong, it's got its faults. Like in America, it's eating itself alive. They got full-on civil war, pardon the pun, but they have in America with all this, with what's going on the right. It seems since Kirk's death, some people have just lost their fucking minds. Wait. So, however, there's also evidence that some of them are just enjoying making the money and laughing about it off when they think they're off camera. I don't know. I want to get too involved in all that. But what I will say is, if you're one of these people that only dips your toe into all this idea of rise of the far right, trust me, we've dealt with the far right. We've been attacked by the far right. The far right are as toxic to me as the far left. That's why we're one of the most attacked groups of people, because we refuse to be racist, but refuse to be woke. And that puts us right up between two opposing forces. And that is the people that want us to hate. Wait. And the people that want us to embrace everything that is our destruction. And we won't do either. We fight for our culture. And it's that kind of also disrupts the narrative. People don't like it. So, so don't listen to this rise of the far right bullshit. It's like, what they're going to start doing, release extra copies of Rise of the Foot Soldier just to put it in people's heads. I mean, come on. In fact, that'd be a good idea. What they should do is they should play the sequel to ID. Remember the film ID? Really good film. They should play the sequel, which was totally woke. I want to show people how far things have fallen. But yeah, rise of the far right is absolutely disgusting thing to be saying right now. And it really is a Keir Starmer government. Only a Keir Starmer government that can do it. I've seen governments say stuff that they should never have said. But only he, at Christmas, has the temerity to come out with these things and to actually put himself and other politicians as the baby faces, as the victims, against these horrible people on the right, or in their, as they say, far right, who have, again, had the audacity to say things opposite to what these people have said, to have different opinions. And that makes them bullies, thugs, racists, and bigots, apparently, because they don't agree with the political opposition. Thought that used to be called politics. So they want you to come out and defend them and look after mainstream politics. Seriously, that's what they want you to do. They want you to defend mainstream politics over change, over something else. Because they're trying to portray themselves as baby faces here. Oh, you know, we didn't do anything. These people have just grown and grown and grown as the world's got a bit more mad, and now they're getting out of control. It's like, no. The group of people that we're in only grows when you hurt people. Only grows when you allow people in the country. Only grows when people see more and more injustice. That growth acceleration is directly correlated to the amount of bad events happening, the amount of parents that are now scared for their children who weren't before, the amount of people who said it's not in my area and now they're saying, yeah, it is. It's directly correlated to the things that are happening, and to the God, it takes me minutes to get a good idea of the landscape in Britain in terms of violent events. You can find one for almost every day of the week for multiple counties in the country. And I mean proper violent events. It's not hard. I should sit with you one night and do it. I just don't know if you'd be interested, but I could show you a picture of Britain that some people just, I don't know, if they're not used to searching quickly, may not realise exists. But first thing I want to do is get that YouTube video out about the deepfakes. I've got it already. It's just been sat there since before Christmas. But I've got all my equipment turned up for my laptop, for my desktop. I've got it all now, so I'm a bit like, I've got to try and do all that. So I'm going to try and do that first. But yeah, and I've got the deepfakes from YouTube. They haven't played that advert again, so I reckon someone's told them about it. But I'm still going to put what I've got up, and when they did it last time, and show you the company as well, because I found the company that you were going to buy it from, and I'm still going to reveal all that. So that video is kind of, in terms of creating videos, that's first on the list, because I really think it needs to be exposed. And if someone's willing to take that video and show them and make them make a change, then maybe it's worth a try. Because if they realise just how easily they're being caught red-handed, maybe they'll do something about it. I don't know. But yeah, you know, I know YouTube's never going to be the perfect fit for me, but I can try and make it a better place in my own way. And like I said, you know, rather than trying to fight against the rules here, I'll work with them, and then I'll just release adult versions of stuff on other platforms. You know, if they can't handle adult stuff here, I'm not going to throw my toys out the pram. I just put it on X, I'll put it on other places. But we can still develop a lot of stuff here. We can still just remember, I'm playing a character. Just remember, I'm playing a character. You got my back with that, right, guys? You know I'm playing a character. Every time I come on here, I'm just playing a character. Everything's alleged, and it's all just part of my messed up fantasy character. So, therefore, nothing means anything, right? So, we are free to explore. We're free to explore, and also free to explore because I'm in this position with the channel. You know, we're growing upwards, and it's different. It's great. Got freedom. We can fuck around. And so I was talking to someone this morning. I think because I have all this equipment turned up that I spent a lot of money on, I think 2026. Oh yeah. So I lost a sticker memory, which cost me money. And then what else was it that happened? It didn't please me. Didn't cheer me up. What was it? Hang on a minute. What was it? Oh yeah. So I put my 3070 in my PC. Thought I'd test out the video editing on it. The same day as putting the video card in, I found out that my video assets, my video editor assets, that is all the things that I pay for extra to make it do more than boring nothing, more than the boring stuff, gone. and that is a lot of stuff that I rely on. So yeah, it's just expired, so I need to pay for it again. And don't get me wrong, that's paying for that is about 120 quid, but I found a way of legally doing it for about 43 quid legally, but it's gonna have to wait. I've just spunked all my money on the stuff for the laptop, and it's just like, I really tried hard to give myself nothing to complain about, to get everything in. I got my hard drives in, everything. I was like, right, all you got to do, a couple more little bits, but you've got the main stuff. Get yourself to March, all your bills paid off. Come March, you'll have some money, you can travel. And yeah, kicking the bollocks, because I've got to also remember that I need to now get another year at some point when I can afford it of my video editor. It's not just a video editor you can hack, you can, but you won't get, it's nowhere near the results, because a lot of it's deliberately online, and you can, it's hard to explain, but not good. And because the amount of updates that it has, and it needs them too. So that's a bit of a bummer. But don't get me wrong, I look at what I've managed to afford over a short period of time, and I'm happy with it. I've done really well, and I do think that I've done enough that if I do things right, that by March I really could be like, right, where am I going? What am I doing? And there will be some autonomy there. Again, I'm not going to make myself broke for this movement like I did last time. I'm not going to go without a life for it. I did all that before. Look where it got me. But what I will do is, if I've done all this now, and like I say, I end up by March, just, it's all paid for, money's in my pocket, then why wouldn't I want to then spend a bit on travel and go and do some stuff? Got my mics, got everything else set up, why not? That's when it becomes, and I've got 2 SIM cards anyway now, so that's a start. So yeah, I am looking forward to it. I want to go to Southampton Patriots, and that'll be starting earlier, so I'm thinking January for getting over and filming something over there. 2026 will be filming with Vin again as well. Hopefully if that all goes down well, we should be really, really good. Today I am broadcasting this in 1080p at 4 megabits per second on YouTube, and 3.5 megabits per second on everything else. And so I don't know how it's coming across, but I thought I'd go for broke, use a bigger phone, bigger battery, power bank, and just turn everything up. It's not full whack, but I thought I would turn everything up while I've got a higher upload rate and see how the phone holds up. Phone's cold. See how the battery holds up? Battery's doing well. I'll tell you what, it's night and day, these 2 phones, the way they run Prism. Wow. Yeah, so hopefully that's coming across better quality. Spoon! So a news story from Australia a few days ago where a police officer was, oh shit, lost it. Oh, bollocks. And more chance of seeing Bigfoot than any far right, absolutely. So a news story from Australia a few days ago where a police officer was interviewed about a so-called far right protest. Yeah, where are these far? That's the other thing as well. If the far right are out running the streets, where are they? Why has nobody even managed to capture them on camera? Like, they're like deer. The OK said the other day on the DWO that likes of reform may crack down harder on the Patriots to prove their credentials. I believe that, Steve. Look at what Farage has already done with Tommy. And even Tommy has said in the past he can understand why Farage wouldn't want to be associated with him. Fair enough, but he didn't need to bury Tommy. Tommy wasn't trying to get in the pot, and he buried him. And I do think they would do it again, yeah. Is that wind hitting that mic hard? Oh, for fuck's sake, these comments are doing my head in, guys. I'm sorry. Totally agree, John. The majority are now seeing right through the far left's labelling BS. Yeah. So that means like most of the country. If you hold a flag, you're far right. If you are worried about immigration, you're far right. Even if you complain about how much money you've got, you're far right, for fuck's sake. They have assigned a load of stuff to us now. There's just and some of it is just regular like personality, but no, and it's fucking ridiculous. It's like, if anybody cared about the truth, it would already be so incredibly obvious that there is no radicalization going on the far right, at least not deliberate. And yeah, the radicalization that's going on everywhere else is where all the money should be going. They know this. They're just making up a far right devil when they know they've created a beast that is eating its own people, and they are still banging on the far right drum. They either are that out of touch, or they are that determined to see you dead. It was wrong, yeah. What Farad said about Tommy was wrong, and there was no need for it. If there was something going on between them at the time, you could maybe understand it more. But Tommy didn't want to be part of reform. He didn't want to be anything to do with it, and yet Farage threw him under the bus anyway, because somebody asked him a question about Tommy, and he really threw him under the bus and told fucking lies as well, which is even worse because those lies stick. And Farage, of all people, who's had that done to him, should have known better. As unforgivable what he did that day. You know, and you want to criticise Tommy, right? Criticise him for what he has done. Don't start saying he's fucking handy with women and everything else. There is zero evidence to support that from anywhere, from anyone. So it was wrong on all levels. But I, you know, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Reform Party or any of them. But what I will say is they are a legitimate threat to power. They are trying to close down elections. They're trying to gatekeep. There needs to be all these things that are being highlighted now. People need to remember instead of forgetting. And if there is any parliamentary procedure in the future, if it doesn't get eradicated, then people need to remember times like this and say no more of this stalling in elections when things are inconvenient shit. When it's a gatekeeping job, basically. I think all parties, whether they're in those councils or not, should have a vote on that. Yeah, all this tactical stalling of elections, that's not democracy, you know. Yeah, so, but the idea of, again, so I'm sorry to go back around, but the idea of a rising far right on mainstream television taking up airtime, considerable amount of airtime I will add. It's a fantasy far right. Like at Southampton, the White Vanguard, all 6 to 8 of them, who were completely rejected by everybody there. So all it proves, once again, like it always proves, the far right are not welcome anywhere near us. Never will be. Sorry, they are not right wing. And if people don't understand that they're not right wing, that's really not my problem. It's really not, because most people get it. In fact, most people with even quite low IQs can understand it. So therefore, not understanding is a choice. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's a choice to stay willfully ignorant, knowing what you're backing. But yeah, I just don't see. Even I'm doing that. Got me talking about the far right. The far right is, again, pretty much non-existent. I remember I had a really civil conversation one day with this guy who was Hitler supporter. And this is the thing. People say to me, oh, come on, Tom. There's no people that actually support Hitler. There's no people that actually... It's like, okay, I guess you've spent thousands of hours on the airwaves, have you? No, you haven't. Okay. And it's not been... Whoa. That's not been arrogant. It's just, you know, you will meet all sorts on here, right? So I was in a doctor's surgery, this was years ago. And he said, you know, I support Hitler and everything else. I said, are you trolling me? And he's like, no, I'm being totally serious. I said, and this is one of my first encounters. I said, you're being very polite. He said, well, we don't have to hate each other. We're both human. And I said, all right. I said, well, do you really, really support Hitler? And he said, yeah. He said, I don't believe in this and I don't believe in that. I can't say this stuff on here. Don't believe in this, don't believe in that. And I was like, wow. I said, I can't agree with you in any way. I said, but you got some balls coming out with that. You really have got some balls coming out with that. But he was really, really polite. Really, really polite. And this is what they are, is they are very polite. The people with these, Mark Collette being a perfect example, absolute gentlemen. But they have some very wicked views in terms of what they like to do with the JQ, which I later found out was a Jewish question. And but they're so fringe. They're so fucking fringe. And then you've got the far left, which is basically now encompasses the media, politics. The far left activists and the far left politics are basically in the same bathtub now, as are the media, as a Disney, who run your news. By the way, Sky News is owned by a Disney company. So the greatest storytellers of all time are telling the news. No conflict of interest there, nothing to see. That's not conspiracy, that's just absolute fact. I remember the day the deal was done. I say day, it takes time, doesn't it? But when it was announced. And so, yeah, so you've got the most woke companies who've got all the megaphones, they've got all the keys, all the doors, all the locks, all the loudest points. They've got your kids. They are now going to be watching your kids for misogyny, and they're going to be, hey, wait, stop. They're going to be error correcting. Stop. They're going to be error correcting your kids at school for anything they perceive. Remember, they perceive as misogyny. And you know the score when it comes down to people's interpretation of what's offensive, what's misogyny. I mean, for instance, I've been slapped round... I've been slapped round the face by a lady for picking up a bag for her. Because that's what I was always taught to do as a youngster. And I wasn't saying you're weak, you can't do it. Picked up a bag for her. Guess why? Because she had the keys in her hand, she was undoing a car. I felt it was no sweat off my nose. I got a slap straight round the face for that. I don't need a man to pick up my bags for me, thank you very much. I'm not weak, blah, 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 blah. This is the world they wanted, guys. And now, quite rightly, there's a lot of women that are complaining about the result of man that they've got, the quality of man that they've got. Some of them shouldn't have demanded that guys like us started crying all the time and weeping over movies. You can't have it both ways. Stoicism comes at a price, yes, but the price for women was worth it, because they didn't have to deal with the crybabies they're dealing with today. 1 second. And again, if you're wondering how I've slipped onto that, you may think I'm darting around the place with subjects. No, I'm not. It all comes under feminism, Marxist feminism. And that's what it really comes under, Marxist feminism. It's all part of the same wheel. It's all part of the same wheelhouse. It's all connected. And that's what I'm saying. They've got all these connections. They are not. I'm not going to say as far as say they're ruling the world, but they've certainly got one of its bollocks in their hand at the moment, and they're squeezing. And then these millionaires with power are trying to appeal to you, the public, to not listen to the average working class man on the street because he's just a racist scumbag bigot. Listen to them eating boys because they know what's best for you. They care. They're not bigoted or racist or scumbag unless you're Jewish or white. But don't worry about that. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Yeah, I know it wasn't that clever, but I slipped it in because it's important. My view. It feels a lot warmer than the wind I was getting yesterday. It's still a bit windy, but the wind direction's changed. Just anything but a fucking easterly. And I think I don't know what it shifted to, but getting rid of the easterlies made it feel a lot warmer. I'm now sweating because I've got too much on, but that's not a bad thing. We've got some good numbers over Christmas. Not the shitty fake ones. I don't know they're fake. What looked like shitty fake ones, but then we actually had some decent ones over Christmas, which is pure fluke, but I'll take it. It's nice just to give the channel a new, because it's a new channel, and the good thing about having a new channel, it's got new goals, hitting targets for the first time. I forgot you only get to do that once when you're growing a channel, and now I've got the opportunity to do it twice, and I'm gradually, opening these goals all back up again, and it's kind of fun. It's like playing a computer game, so, but like I say, serious stuff in terms of doing. I want to be over Southampton in January. In terms of getting places for demos and that, again, I am not going to break myself for this movement. I'm independent. I'm not going to break myself anymore. Because like I say, it made me very unhappy, very poor, and there's no one there to help you. So, but what I can do is be strategic. Wait till March. If I do, then there could be, again, I don't want to celebrate too early, but the way things are going, and don't forget, every plan I've had so far to increase equipment, to increase efficiency, whatever I've done, or to try and get myself on every day or nearly every day, if you think about it, all those goals a few months ago were a million miles away. If I said to you a few months ago, oh, I'm going to be on every day, for those of you that have followed me over here, if I told you that I was going to be on nearly every day, or I was at least going to release a video every single day, be honest, your attitude probably would have been, yeah, right. You'll try and you'll fail. And you would have been right. But there's like a switch flipped. And now I'm scared of not producing the videos. Which is a good thing. It means I still will always think in that black and white way, but at least it's flipped around to the correct way around. I'm still not going to make videos for the sake of making them, though. If I've got anything to say, then, I'm not going to do it. But I think people can see that I'm trying to put my best foot forward now. Pity I didn't do this a while back when I was feeling sorry for myself. But there you go. You've got to learn sometimes. You've got to learn a lesson. So, but it's going to be enjoyable growing back up. And this time, if we do make it, it'll be 100% me and us. And nobody can take that away from us, no matter what. Nobody can shit on it. Nobody can do anything with it. They can just suffer it. Because whatever you think, I am the underdog. I was never supposed to make it the first time. I'm definitely not meant to make it twice. With your help and with the correct content, I will make it twice, and it's going to dumbfound people, and it's going to annoy them, and it's going to make them so angry that and do you know why it will make them angry? Just because they don't, how do I put this? None of them have got any talent. And whilst my talent in terms of being in front of the camera has really become subdued over time, it's still more natural to me than it'll ever be for them. I genuinely enjoy it. You know, I've had a camera in my face since I was a kid. It's just part of life. And they are scared of it because the first time round I wasn't supposed to do what I did. I wasn't supposed to get where I did. I had friends that I used to see on a weekly basis that stopped talking to me because I started working for Tommy Robinson. And their attitude was, I think, he's been in the movement less time than me, and I haven't been asked. I think that was one thing that upset people, which was upsetting for me because I didn't ask to work for him. And the other thing was that I'd see people at demos and I could tell, like, they wanted to ask stuff, but they knew that I couldn't say it. And that caused a division between us as well. And it was really, really sad because a lot of good friends and people sort of, I don't know if it's so much as they couldn't trust me. I think it's a mixture of both. You don't know if you can trust them. They don't know if you can trust you. And it changed things a little bit. That sort of trust went a little bit. You walk into a world where trust is necessary to do the job with like Tommy and that, but at the same time you walk into a world of zero trust because people are always abusing trust in that world. So it was a crazy, crazy time. But that's why I'm saying to you, like, the idea of growing a channel up and being completely independently successful means that when all the big and by the way, you know, I will never say who because I'm not that low, but I have a lot of very big streamers on my contact list. People underestimate me, and I've always told you this from a long time ago, and I like to leave them with that idea of underestimation because then I have less chance of being outsmarted and gutted. So come on, beep, 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 beep. Hey, if you go around talking about how smart you are, then people are going to plan accordingly, right? So, oh, she's making me forget what I was fucking talking about. Come here. Come here. Wait. Go. What was I talking about? I've fucking forgotten now. Oh, this is just not... Yeah, this walk of talk business is just done. It's just done. It's not her fault, but it's just done. Yeah, but yeah, in terms of being independent and stuff like that, it's really important because the channel used to put a lot of time into helping smaller people, a lot of time into helping new people, a lot of time into helping misunderstood people, a lot of time even trying to bring people together that weren't getting on. And I noticed last night, some people at the top of our movement disgraced themselves in public last night. Nobody says a word. Had that be me or Vin, everybody be saying, oh, you're dividing the movement. But when big names in the movement disgrace themselves on X in public, whether they'd had a drink or whatever, it's Christmas, yeah? Whoa, Sue! Come on, you're taking the piss. Whatever their reason, you know, it was Boxing Day, and they felt that someone made a political criticism and expressed some genuine concern. And this highly respected member of the movement felt the need to tell them they were making a fool of themselves simply because they had a different opinion. This highly respected orator that everybody or pretends to bow down to, although the numbers that he's getting don't suggest the same thing, but I'm not here to be catty. He was awful. And then he had the cheek to be talking to other people about having grace. So I mentioned to him, perhaps if he'd had a little bit of fucking grace in the way that he addressed a man's question, perhaps there'd be no need for a rude solution. Very disappointed when people sit there every Sunday, or whatever day of the week they want to choose, and go on and on about God, go on and on about the Psalms and the 316s and all the rest of the bullshit. And then, I'm not calling it bullshit for that reason, you'll understand why in a second. And then every single other day of the week, they are complete hypocrites and they go against every single thing they're supposed to stand for. I'm sorry, but it doesn't make it all right for you just to be a good Christian on Sundays and a CUNT every single other day of the week. It's no excuse. I don't care if you confess. I don't care what you do. Like, if you're behaving worse than an average atheist on an average day, then what good's your religion doing you? Like, instead of preaching to other people, which is fine, by the way, if you would preach to other people I believe it's like anything. It's like learning martial arts. You preach when you have the black belt, right? So it's like, while you're being a hypocrite, while you're lashing out at people, while you're making a fool of yourself, why go out there, try and deride people like that? Why try and make them feel small like that? Why try and embarrass them in front of people like that at Christmas when they ask a valid political question just because it doesn't align with your own political ideals? This is some of the people at the very top of our movement who really have got nothing to fear. So therefore, that makes the lash out even more unnecessary, because they literally could have ignored it and it would have made no difference to their day, their week, their month, or their year. But they couldn't. They had to lash out and make someone who has a very, very valid point of view. And I understand why he asked the questions that he did, because politics is changing again. There's things happening in the background that we're not quite seeing. Nobody's quite sure what it is yet, but something is happening. He'll be proven right, because whatever that happening is probably going to be revealed in the next couple of weeks. And I'll be proved right for that very same thing. There's something going on the right. I'm not saying it's something negative, but something's going on the right. And I think certain people might be teaming up soon, or at least, no, I do think they're teaming up. I don't know, but I think it's obvious that there's some kind of team up going on the right. I think they want to make sure that they win no matter what. And so some of you dream of getting the right, and may you live with the consequences of that. Don't get me wrong, even I've got to the point of admitting, even I'll say it. And at first I thought that was dangerous talk, defeatist talk, but now I realize, if it came to Starmer or Labour Party or Reform, give me Reform, absolutely. But in terms of them all getting together when they've got such massive different views, we could end up with a coalition of people that just do not agree on anything. And a coalition of people that don't agree on anything is a government that doesn't get anything done. It's just there waiting for the next election. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying it's bad that the right are getting together. The clandestine way they're doing it is a bit weird, but maybe that's to throw the left off. I don't know. I really don't know. That's what I'm saying. There's 1 second. I've got to blow my nose. Please hold your ears. Let me get the mic away. Hate cold weather. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they're all working together, and there's nothing wrong with that. If they're trying to make sure that they're keeping Starmer out of power, it's just the way they're going about it. But this is what I'm trying to say. So that idea there, that the right, and that includes UKIP, everybody, if the idea came to you that after months and months and months of slagging off each other, especially people slagging off UKIP, same side, without any explanation, without any statement, nothing, is that, or is that not, grounds for at least a question from people in the movement, at least a question from anybody that considers themselves to be a citizen journalist in this movement, isn't questioning what's going on and why? The first thing that you should do, just to gain knowledge if nothing else, and to make sure that everything's on the level. And yet for doing that exact thing, someone quite high up, someone that deserves respect, was told he was making a fool of himself. So, as I said, I made sure to remind that person, because that person told him to show some grace. So I made sure to let that person know, as they like to go on about God and grace and everything else and don't show any of it themselves, that grace is something that, had he have come on that post and then perhaps I couldn't have even made a comment about it. You know, if he'd come in with grace, there'd be no need for rudeness. But he came in with rudeness, choosing that over grace. So don't lecture me and other people about how to be good and behave. because it was your bad behavior that got people's attention in the first place. The other person's comment was just a political comment. It would have gone away. It would have gone away. But you couldn't let someone have a different opinion. You couldn't let someone just ask a question. And the real question is why. If you are up at the top of the movement, or I say top of the movement, this guy's not actually the top of the movement. He just likes people to think he is. When you're up there, or in his case, falling pretty quick, and you've got pretty much things tied up in terms of you know what you're doing, your job safety, everything else. Why would you lash out at someone over something like that? Maybe because you've had a drink or things like that. But it's Christmas as well, but Christmas spirit. Or is it because that person's hit on something? Is it because they've hit on something that hurts a little bit? Is it because they've come a little bit too close to exposing something that maybe they don't even know they're onto? Maybe they thought they were just asking a question about what is an obvious political change that's happening behind the scenes. But perhaps there's more of a coup involved than that. Perhaps there's something bigger going on than that. And perhaps, I don't know. I'm not saying that is the case, but by reacting with pure venom towards that person, it raises the question, right? Whereas before, I probably wouldn't have even noticed that person making the comment. But they brought such attention to it now. I'm like, okay, now you've given me a reason to be watching you. And also, if you think that you're going to get away with making fools out of creators and citizen journalists just by using numbers and not by using logic, facts, heart, truth, I'm going to come down on you, regardless of how many numbers I've got, because it's the words that hurt. And it's the way that I apply them that gets to you. And I will use them. And I have a whole bucket of shit that I won't throw, but I can use in other ways to craft, to create the perfect shit snowball. So that when you start firing plastic arrows at me, I will get out a nuclear bomb first strike. That's what it will be. So don't bully people, right? Nobody likes a bully. And if these people want to bully other people who have earned their respect over 8 years in this movement, right? They've done nothing wrong. If they want to stop bullying people like that into it because they've got a different narrative, well, that's where I'm going to appear. And I'm going to tell them in the nicest way how they can go fuck themselves. Because no one has the right to silence anybody. And in this movement, we've always championed free speech. When I came on here, my first priority was free speech. If you try and shut down me, my friends, other creators, I don't even care if they're neo-Nazis. I don't like them. I wouldn't have anything to do with them, wouldn't have them on my show. But if I see them, if I see attempt to break their legal free speech, I will step in. I will not be part of or tolerate this gatekeeping and this bullying of people who are just asking questions that should be asked for an honest dialogue with the people who are supporting you. If you are going to speak to the people who are supporting you like that, you don't deserve to be there. And I will be here to call you out on it. Man, my numbers may be small at the moment, but I know you, you know me, and that's why my words will pierce a lot harder than anybody else's. Because I know the secrets. And I'm not talking about Tommy's secrets or anything like that. I'm talking about I know the secrets of the hypocrisy of people in this movement. And it's like, you don't want to play that game with me because I'll show your hypocrisy. And you won't be able to show any of mine because there isn't any. Because I've lived by the sword. And you will have to do the same thing. The difference is I haven't got years of hypocrisy to fall on. So the sword will be blunt for me. Could you say the same thing? I know the answer to that already. So they need to pipe themselves down, stay in their lane, and let the independent broadcasters broadcast. We're just trying to make our own way. We're not trying to step on anyone's toes. We're not trying to hurt anybody. We're just trying to do media without narrative. And we're trying to make our own way. We're trying not to ask for money. And we're just trying to be good people. So you've already taken over everything else. Stay in your fucking lane. Otherwise, I'll make some, like I made a certain other YouTuber cry on camera with words because he couldn't keep his ego in check. I'll do the same thing again. And I'll make other grown men cry. That's pathetic, isn't it? That you can make a grown man cry with words. But that's how shallow their egos are. So I'll do it again. I'll make another grown man cry on his own channel, just with a few little words. And these are the people that are moralizing to you and telling you need to repent. Anyway, enough on that. Hang on a second. Sorry, the things are jumping around. Oh, they really are jumping around. Please, sorry, bear with me, guys. I do apologise. Sorry, that was a bit of a rant, wasn't it? I do apologise, but I'm passionate about these things because I don't like bullies. I don't like bullies. And if you look at the numbers that some of us have got at the moment, and then to have people trying to pull that shit, nah, I'm not having it. I will fight regardless of the numbers, you know. But, you know, the crazy thing is, we shouldn't be fighting people on our own side. We've got enough problems with the other side, and yet this is why I'm so angry about it. It's because it shouldn't be happening. I shouldn't have to defend people on my own side against people on my own side. That's the point. Good on you, Steve. Just reading through, guys. And White Vanguard, like the life of Brian. Tom, have you seen the guy in Ireland who abused Ezra Levant from Rebel News? Oh, yes. With his 244,000 channel, he's another guy that's transitioned himself to basically mainstream media. Is making so much money, and you guys still don't know to this day. You talk about Ezra, you don't know what he did to Tommy, and I can't talk about it. I don't think I can legally talk about it, because unless Tommy said anything to you guys, has he? I can't take a chance. Unless Tommy said anything about it, and I really can't remember, then yeah, that guy's responsible for a lot. And then Tommy took a lot of shit for things that people said he hadn't bothered to do or didn't do. And it wasn't Tommy's fault. But that's what I'm going to say. I wrote him a message, you know, on X. I know it wasn't very grown up, but I wrote him a message just, all right, cunt. Just to remind him he still had friends. He blocked me after a little while. But yeah, he's on there. He's on there, 244,000 subscribers, making himself out to be mainstream, and he's on there creaming over Ukraine and yeah, just covering Ukraine, just like a good little mainstream media boy. Mark Collette is the best leader of the country that we unfortunately didn't have. Yeah, well, I've met him up close and I disagree. I'm sorry, but you're never going to sell me on that one. I mean, if he was the leader the country never had, then why did nobody ever want him? You know, so Tom, 10 million for the people going into schools to teach working class kids about misogyny. Yeah. It has bumped to 335. I'm a former police officer. I'll put Starmer down, boy. My message to Starmer is don't talk to me like that again, boy, the way he does. Oh, he spoke to us in a disgusting way. I will agree with you. You're a former police officer, are you? That's interesting. Keith, can I ask you a question? Do you live with your mum and dad? Serious question. Serious question. No joke, no wind up. But his aunt on the weekends. Tom, but his excuse is Christ, same for the sinner. Yeah, true. Hang on a second, guys. 1 second, guys. I'll be honest with you, Keith. I think a lot of people are. If you want me to be totally honest, I think most people I've ever met are fake when it comes to free speech. Free speech specifically. I'm not saying on everything else, just free speech. I don't think I've met many people that are genuine because they think they want free speech until they get it back. And that's what's made me realise, nah, a lot of people don't actually want free speech. They want their free speech. There's a lot of people I wouldn't trust with free speech. Other things I would, but not free speech. I don't believe they understand it. I don't believe they can allow it when push comes to shove. So that's why I think free speech should be protected in a cage, like part of a constitution that can't be touched or changed so easily. Just no rules about it. Just put it in a cage and chain it up and make it unchangeable without a hell of a lot of legislation. I know someone who's pretending to be for free speech who goes around shutting down people who ask him basic questions about his war career in Iraq, and he's over in Chesterfield. All right, Steve, you know what this is. Make him gone, please. No, that's Jack. That's Jack. Get rid of him, please, mate. That's Jack. Saw you coming about 5 minutes ago, mate. Saw you coming about 5 minutes ago, Jack. You crossed the line with Vin, yeah? Sick fuck. Tell you what, you'd be very, very sorry on the day that you actually get under my skin. You haven't yet, and you never will. You should be very grateful of that. But you are a toxic waste of space. I told you a long time ago, this is the last time I will ever speak to you. So you listen good, because I will never speak to you again. Ever, in any form, any way, shape or form. Told you a long time ago, if I left you alone, that you would, through your behaviour, would show to me who you were. Look what you've done since. You've proved me right in ways even you couldn't have imagined. You're a stalker, you're a troll, you're a bad man, and you're only young, so you've only got plenty of time to get worse. Go sort yourself out. Go get a head doctor. Go do whatever you've got to do to make yourself a better person. Or you can end up being like this the rest of your life, acting like a complete twat on social media, and you're gonna end up hurting someone one day. You're gonna end up hurting someone one day because you've got an obsessive side to you that is not healthy. It's not normal. You should have moved on by now. The fact that you haven't says you're a mental case. Go get some help. Go get some help, because you might actually find life is a lot more worth living than you think, and there's better things to do than to hate on Vin just because he rejected you, and to hate on me just because I rejected you. We rejected you because you said the N word on his channel, and then you're repeating it on your own Twitter and that, and then you expected us to have you on our live stream. No, that's it. When you're known to be doing that, that's the end. Like, you blew it, then accept it. Done. And that's the last we'll ever speak, Jack. Next time, you'll just be removed. No ceremony, no chat. I wondered if they knew it. To be honest with you, Steve, I don't want to say too much on here, but me and Vin had theory that they possibly know each other or are the same, but know each other. And also, that guy wasn't very aggressive for like the one who went on with Vin, was he? But I don't know. Maybe you're right. Yeah, the guy. I heard the guy that went on Vin's channel. I don't want to talk about this too much on here because I don't want, regardless of whether they know each other or not, I don't want them to hear what I know about them, the strategies I have towards them, because most strategies work and they will end up going away. So, but the more you talk about them on here, every single word I say right now gives them the erection and they will keep coming back. So I'm going to cut it there, and I'll have to think of a way of speaking to you in private, Steve. And by the way, if I do speak to you in private about these people, it will be for about a week, and then we won't need to speak again about them because that's how easy a strategy is to have. Just bang, gone. Could very well, yeah. There you go, Steve. I think you've just nailed it, mate. There you go. And the thing of it is, I want to be very careful because they've made some very serious accusations, which I have on email. Vin has as well. They made some very, very serious accusations that they keep making. They're going to start stacking up, and those accusations, as you know, Steve, can be used in the court of law. I'm not one of those people that does that or goes that far, but if I sense that anybody's in danger or anybody's in danger of being maligned, I will use it. So it's up to them what they do. But I've tried to say it in the nicest possible way. You haven't seen me talk about all this online. I've done it offline, and I've tried to say, not interested, even by way of just not engaging anymore, just not talking. So, yeah. But you also see as well, I knew it was, and I still tried to give them time to not hang themselves. I'm like that. I don't like to just get rid of people. Some guy came on the other day and he asked me if I was masturbating or something, and I made a joke to him, and he instantly laughed back, and we got on really, really well. So I'm not here to look for people to chuck off. But that guy, yeah. Tom, got to ask about. So I can't. Hang on a minute, mate. Got to ask about stop people beyond giving a timeout. Oh, okay. Usually it's hide user from channel. Hide user from channel is because I used to get confused with this as well, because you're looking for a remove user or delete user or something like that. And I'm pretty sure it comes up as hide user, and that is what will stop. That is what will stop them. I'm pretty sure. If that's not right, let me know. Yeah, exactly. Don't get me wrong, Steve. I'm not at that point yet. Not for a long way. Like I say, I have my ways of dealing with it. And I've talked to Vin about it, and those ways have been very, very effective in the past, like 100% effective. So I'm not anticipating that, but I'm just trying to let them know, those are avenues. Should it get too much? Should it go too far? Not to think that there won't be a response, because there will be, but it'll be silent and deadly, meaning legal. But nobody will be making announcements about it. If it carries on, it becomes harassment, and that's exactly how it would be treated. I've never banned anyone, but thanks for the heads up. No problem, pal. Just in case you ever have someone you need to just get rid of. That hiding them from channel, it gets rid of them permanently. But obviously, those controls are there for you to use as you wish. You've got the full trust in you, Steve. So, like I say, it's not a function of mine. You knew this when I asked you to come on to sit and ban people. I try not to. My big line in the sand is when people are attacking other people, whether it's ganging up on people in the chat, whether it's trying to pull the chat away, or whether it's, again, you can say what you want to me, but trying to slag Vin and all the rest of it's no, no, not gonna happen. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Whatever you think is right, Steve. Whatever you think is right. I didn't know you could do 24-hour bans. Actually, I think some things may have changed a little bit, or I wasn't aware of them. But I think some things might have changed. But no, however you see it fit. Yeah, whatever you see it fit. All I will say is, if you ever, maybe the only thing I'd say is, if you ever think it's the Sparrow, then just immediately dump. Yeah, but beyond that, you know what you're doing, Steve. And you also, it's you that's got to deal with people, so you know whether you want them coming back and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I know like when I'm talking here and you're in there talking, it's very nuanced. So there's no way I'm ever going to get a grip of what's going on like you do. That's when I drew the line, but I always try to give you a warning. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But had I have not seen it and you've done it anyway, fine. I would have totally understood. I would have totally understood. But yeah, and you know what? If you've got some valid criticism of Vindicator, I'll talk about it. Like if someone has, I mean, if someone's got some valid criticism of Danny Roscoe, I'll talk about it. These are my friends, but it doesn't mean I think they're perfect. Same as I'm not perfect, and I would expect them to do the same where I'm concerned. But if you just come in and shit on them, to see what my reaction will be, well, my reaction will be as you guessed. And that is that Vindicator's done some amazing things. Danny Roscoe has shown fight when nobody else had any. And both of them have helped lift me off the floor. And I don't know where I'd be without them. So fuck anybody who's got an issue with them. And that goes for Steve, Dave, Helen, Min, all the people that have had my back, stay with me. Even at times when you don't agree with me and whatever else, you've still stuck with me, and I appreciate it. I know we're a small band at the moment, but we'll grow. And some of the stuff I've said today, I've had a bit of a moan and a rant today, but I am generally not a hateful person. Even the rant's not hateful. I'm just also don't like. I'm not going to. No, why am I apologising? I'm not going to stand here and watch people get fucking bullied. I'm going to get involved. And I'm going to stop it. And I'm not going to stand here and watch people get slagged off that don't deserve it. No, I won't go involve myself in other people's arguments. No, I won't go involve myself in other channels' arguments. But if you come to me or if someone's attacking people because they've got clout, then I'll call it out. And I'll make sure everybody sees it for what it is. I don't like bullies, and I will always stand up for the smaller guy in that situation, as long as that smaller guy's in the right. You shouldn't punch down. It's a rule of what we do. And that's why a lot of you didn't understand when I went after a certain large podcaster a long time ago. It's because he shouldn't punch down. There's a rule. I never punched down, ever. You don't attack. Like when I had 20,000 people, you would never go and attack a channel with 1,000 people. It's just a rule. You don't punch down. It's not good etiquette. And that's what these people are doing. They will not. I don't have to stand by and watch it. I don't have to. I understand. Believe me, I've had a couple of mods that were gung-ho. Let's say it that way. And they meant the best. But I've also had a lot of really, really good mods as well. And I've got to say, majority of them, like 90, probably 95% of them were brilliant. And they really were. I think we had the best mods on here at one time. And I think we're going towards that territory again if we grow. I think we will again. But because they did a good job. They were centered, and they just like you. They got a line, but at the same time, they would let people have a lot of movement with inside that. So yeah, And people have tried in the past to get me to go against my own mods and try and call the mods out. And so that was why I employed the policy of, right, well, the mods have got full control. They've got more say than I have over what happens in this chat, because I would have to go back home and review that chat later to have an opinion, a proper opinion, right? So, and that stopped people trying to turn me on my mods. Because I just said, well, they've got full power. They've literally got more power than me whilst I'm recording, because they've got the context. And if I look later on and find out I disagree with them, well, I can disagree with them, but you still won't get to see the drama, because we can talk about it in private. So they will never get what they want, is my point. Sorry about laughing about your uncontrolled rage. I know how restrained you're being. I know how restrained you've been. Sorry for laughing at that, but it's fun. We both have it, Steve. Trust me, we both have it. I just hide it well, but that rage is in me. But I just hide it well. I suppose it's years of doing this, but no, I understand how. Like, I know that last person. I'm sure I understand what you would like to have done, which was nuke them off of the internet, nuke their home, nuke their part of the planet. So I get it. No, it's totally cool. You've been brilliant, mate. You've been brilliant. Like I say, Dave's been great, and I think I need to mod some other people back up as well. But I can't remember who's who at the moment. But we're starting out. But we're doing all right. And to keep this Christmas spirit going, because I have been ranting a bit, raving a bit. Like I said, I won't be speaking to, if it's that person again, I won't be speaking to that person again. If the supposed next blog wants to come on and threaten me, he's welcome to try. But beyond that, we're here to move forward. We're here to look for problems, fix problems. That's what we're here to do. We're not here to get tangled up in somebody. What it really comes down to is somebody sees a small channel as an opportunity to be a medium-sized fish in a very, very small pond. They see their one chance of glory, what they consider as glory. So yeah, and all it does is sidetrack your channel. So we're laying down the ground rules today, but from here out, these people will be ignored. You will be ignored, and I'm very, very, very good at it. Ask anybody. I just leave it at that. Ask anybody. When I decide to ice you, that's it. We never speak again. And there's no curiosity. There's no video you can make. There's just nothing you can do that will entice me to look. If I cut you off, because I just don't care. So, and that's not evil, by the way. It's like, that's a survival mechanism. You need to cut people off sometimes. As a 7-year-old, the school got in touch with Mum because I was trying to develop a nuke on the basis that is USR and USA had them. Why shouldn't I? Well, exactly. Preparing for war, that seems totally legitimate considering the time period. I don't know what the fucking problem was. It's not like you can get plutonium in the place, is it? I don't know. Some people, with me, it was because everything I did, whether it was a script, a story, everything I did resulted in basically the apocalypse, or just things being smashed up and burnt and destroyed in storms and wrecks and shipwrecks, and they said everything you do has to be destruction. And I was like, all right, I'll do something about a windmill then. A windmill that gets broken in half in a storm, and I wasn't allowed to. It was 1962. Well, you're an early bloomer. Oh, it's a good note to call it a day on. That white thing in the middle looks shite, doesn't it? So we're on 1080p today. So I have to have a look at this back. 1080p at about 4 megabits per second. So we'll have a look back, see what the quality is like. Getter, again, thank you for keep watching and sharing. I'm sorry about what happened yesterday. Prism broke Getter as a result of its failure, and all live streams went down, so you didn't get the live stream for Getter yesterday. What I will say is, not only are you watching, not only are you sharing, we can't comment live on here at the moment because of the restrictions of Get Around Prison. They're supposed to be working on this, but what I will say is, it's nice to start seeing the comments coming as well now. Now we're really making ground. Because if we can start having dialogue between us like we're starting to have, the sky's the limit. You know, I'm not opposed to coming over to the US. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, to be honest with you, to cover some of the stories over there. And I'm pretty sure some people here would be interested, especially if they link directly to the UK. So, you know, I'm considering the Get Out window a very open window. So you guys over and Get Out are very important. We're still growing, slowly but surely. Thank you for that. Let's keep it growing. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep doing what we're doing. And we'll have this bridge between myself, the UK, the US, and whoever else we can get out to. But I appreciate you all on Get Out. I really do. Where the quality and sound is 5.5 by wind was okay, and no glitching today. Oh, that's good to know. So turn the signal up and no glitching. That's good. Different phone today, but that's good to know. And that wasn't even with a SIM card in it. So good test then. Good test. Right, Steve, I'm gonna love you and leave you. Thank you so much for joining me, mate. I'm sorry other people could be here, but I know you'll be doing different stuff today. We don't exactly get out on EE anyway, but I know you'll all be doing different stuff. Hopefully I'll see you guys on replay. Remember, sometimes when people come on to watch your videos, I know it's old hat now, but please try and remember to hit the like button if you can, or dislike if you don't like it. But just keep things moving, keep the boring algorithms moving, and keep those numbers going up, and we will get somewhere. We already are. Thanks for your support, really do appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your Christmas period, and we will still keep doing random stuff over Christmas. Hopefully me and Vin will hook up soon, and we'll do some decent videos. And like I say, we've got a rough future planned out, which I'm quite excited about. It's now about patience. Now I've got to see whether I feel like taking my laptop apart and putting all that stuff in, reinstalling Windows, blah 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 blah. Yeah. I do, but I also don't. Anyway, I'll catch you soon. I am Tom Fury. This is Zero News. I am calling it a day for now, my friends. Or perhaps not. Perhaps so. Perhaps not. Perhaps so.
Father, please, you can have my Led Zeppelin records, George Michael, anything. That's my boy! Wimp. Britannia!
The TV is crazy and the truth has gone. I might be crazy, but I think we're done. There are people out there who are adverse to fun.
Communism is king.
It's on your news. Even your neighbor has been here. You can see it on YouTube. It's time to shine a light. On all the things they don't want you. Tom Generation Next. Oh, it's what's coming next. Tom Generation Next.
Command a war. Don't be a cunt.
Honesty Channel.
I'm having such a good time.
Kill everyone on the bridge. Fuck you, Mr. Ransom.
My name is Owen Jones, a renowned drama queen, pseudo-intellectual and champagne socialist.
What can I do?